The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. In a broken world, stories with humor, heart, or hope are a nice change of pace.
There are some things money can't buy.
It's News-ish on The Wally Show.
John Phillips is a California judge, and by the year 2000, he was devastated at the amount of minors convicted of horrible crimes coming through his court. And so he decided he was going to do something about it. Instead of sending them to jail where they could just learn to be a better criminal, he wanted to do something different. That's when he took an old local juvenile detention center and he turned it into Rancho, Cielo. So it's a private school that takes in kids who are considered the worst of the worst or just in a bad situation. So these are kids in county jails, juvenile detention centers, homeless shelters, and foster homes. And they give them the opportunity to change their life path. So he provides for them basic school subjects like math and science. And he also makes it where, like, if they've got some learning disabilities, they don't have to just sit in a chair and pay attention. Like, they can pay attention while standing and moving.
It's not as rigid as normal
Right, it's
school.
not as rigid. But also he gives them vocational training in jobs like carpentry, construction, even beekeeping and culinary arts, just to name a few.
See, that is so important, because when people come out of prison, it's really hard for them to get a job. And if they don't have skills, they just return. It's recidivism. The rate is horrible because we're not doing it right. And so places like this that teach kids that you can go and you can make a good living by working and teaching them the value of work, but giving them the skills to do that is so vital.
Well, and also he's catching them before they go as far as an actual jail,
right?
So here's what's so cool, the stats on it. 84% of the students that they take on end up not reoffending.
There you go. See, that's so good, man.
I mean, hello. That's a huge difference. And while some may say the school seems unsustainable, John Phillips points out it costs around $80,000 less to put a child through the ranch than it is to ever keep them housed in prison.
See, that's so cool, man. Like, again, I have a prison story in my own family, and I know, like, when you come out, how difficult that is, and in our case, this they had family support, but not everybody has that.
Right.
And so you see people are just in this revolving door of a mess. And so somebody stepping in, especially at the judge level like that, to say, I see the problem, I'm going to start trying to treat it here. We could learn from that, from prison people getting out, like adults getting out and going, okay, what can we do to keep this from happening again?
Yes.
And the secret is education. Education in third world countries is the secret to breaking poverty. What's one of the leading symptoms of crime is poverty. And so if you can teach people how to make a living and provide that for them, they don't have to go out and steal, or they have a different path. And we still haven't figured that out yet, I know. Or we're not doing anything about it.
Right. I hope that there are more judges or more ranches, that open up and can help these kids that obviously need it.
Well, there you go. That's going to do it for your News-ish. Thank you, Lady Rock.
Great Googly Moogly.
Googly Moogly.
Great Googly Moogly.
Uplifting WayFM. This is The Wally Show. We're going to give you a chance to win a Christmas present here with a little Great Googly Moogly. Gavin is our Google Meister, and he will ask Google an open-ended question. Betty Rock and I will attempt to figure out what Google has auto-filled as answers. If we duplicate each other, the answer is negated. And we're trying to get the most points we can. You get 2 points for a number one answer. Now, while this is important to you, is you see who does well, because that person could help you in your round. So, Gavin, with that, what is our first Christmas Great Googly Moogly question?
All right, this is kind of a statement. The best Christmas movie is blank.
Ooh,
so
that's a big one, and yeah. And this is his Google too. Was there a Lord of the Rings Christmas movie?
If there was, it'd be number one.
Is there a Star Wars Christmas movie?
No.
Okay. The best. What? Give me it again. The
best Christmas movie is blank.
The best Christmas movie.
Man, that's a tough one.
It's so objective. It's so.
And then I'm wondering, did it fill it in with like one you can share with friends, or did it fill it in with a specific
Titles.
Okay, it is
okay,
all
okay.
titles.
The best Christmas movie is. Okay, I got my answer.
What'd you write?
A Christmas Story.
Okay.
Oh, you'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah, and I don't like that one, but I'm thinking of what Google might say.
I thought it might be It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, man.
Because
Yeah.
it's a classic.
It is.
And it's Jerry Short.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, so Gavin, how did we do?
Neither.
Really?
No. I'm so sorry.
How is that possible?
Do you both want to take one super quick stab again?
Elf.
No, Elf. I was going to say Elf too, but there's no way.
Oh, okay, well, Elf is number 3 on the list.
What?
So, other movies, White Christmas,
Okay.
classic, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Again, I love those. The Grinch, the number 1 answer, the cheesy one, it's Die Hard.
Oh,
Oh,
come on.
good
Even
grief.
Google thinks
Yeah.
it's a
No.
Christmas
It's
movie.
not and I love the
No.
movie, but it's not a Christmas
No.
movie. It's an action movie that takes place at Christmas.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That's no good.
So,
All right.
that
Give
one
me-
was
give
so
me one
broad.
more.
Yeah. Okay. So how do reindeer blink?
I got
Come
my
on.
answer.
But think about it.
I know.
It's the
I know, but if I say the same thing as Wally, then
Right.
it's not going to count.
All right, so how about we do this? On 3, we say our answer. Ready?
Well, no, because I'm thinking of the one that you're probably going to say.
I don't know. Well, let's say it. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Fly.
Poop. Oh. I guess.
said poop?
I did say poop.
Did you write it?
Yeah, I guess we're not thinking
man.
of the same answer.
Okay, well, I'm sticking with flying.
okay. Betty snags the number 1 answer.
Yay!
Good job.
Nicely done. Did mine make it on there?
No, it wasn't even number 2.
Gavin, coming up
Ew.
big with the jokes today.
Ew.
All right, so if you want to play along with us, Betty did pretty well there. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM.
Great Googly Moogly.
Googly Moogly.
Great Googly Moogly.
Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. Megan, thank you for joining us for Great Googly Moogly, where Gavin asks Google an open-ended question, and you try to guess how Google autofilled it. Now, if you get the number 1 answer, you'll get 2 presents. If you get an answer on the list, you get 1. So Betty Rock and I will try to help you as well. You can go with one of ours, you can go with yours. So with that, Gavin, what is the Great Googly Moogly question?
How do I get snow out of my blank?
I have this. I have my answer instantly. Ear. How do I get snow out of my ear?
You had snow in your ear?
Yes, I've been snowboarding and fallen, and it goes in your ear, and it packs in there, and then you got gloves, and you can't dig it out. So I'm going with ear. Betty Rock, what are you
I'm
going
going to
with?
say, how do I get snow out of my driveway? Many
Okay.
people are wanting to get to work or school, and it's a little bit slick, so you want to find the fastest way to remove it.
Okay, so those are ours, Megan. What is yours?
Mine would be shoes.
How do I get snow out of my shoes? Okay, that's a good one,
always,
too.
I always get snow in my shoes when I'm out.
Do you live up north?
Actually, I live in Indiana.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, you get snow. It's not like you live in Florida. It's never a problem. Sand, a problem there. Okay, so
Yeah.
you have shoes, ear, and driveway. What do you think? Which of those answers are you going for?
Driveway was actually what popped in my head first, so I might actually go with driveway
Okay.
just
All right.
because that's the first thing I thought.
You're going to feel silly when ear is number 1, but okay.
There's no way.
All right, so with that said, let's rule out some of these here. First of all, she had said shoes. Gavin, did shoes make the list?
Shoes was the number 2 answer.
Oh, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Megan, okay, that's bad. You would have won a prize right there, but you're not out of this yet. Gavin, did ear make the list?
So ear didn't make the list,
Okay.
but number 5 on the list was nose. So
Okay.
you were just, like a few
So not
inches off.
crazy.
No.
Okay. Well, that's close. Okay, so this is a big one. Driveway has to make the list. So with that said, Gavin, did driveway make the list? That's what Megan chose to go with Betty. Did Betty steer her wrong?
No, she did not. It was number 3 on this list.
Nice!
Good job.
Megan, I was concerned for you for a minute, so that means you are picking up a prize today.
Yay!
What was number 1, just out of curiosity?
So number 1, I get this as a dog owner. It was dog fur. Like if your dog goes out in the snow and
Sure.
comes back in looking pale white,
Yeah.
it's hard to get out.
Okay. Well, there you go. So, not the number 1 answer, but you were still picking up a prize today. And, Megan, we appreciate you listening and being on the show with us and playing Great Googly Moogly.
Thank you.
It's easy to let the fear of the unknown keep us from doing something that is good for us, but going back to school might not be quite what you think.
Yeah, one of my biggest fears going back to school was I'd have to watch a ton of online lectures, and I kind of have a problem staying awake during stuff like that. But it was so different than I had imagined and way better.
Yeah, for sure. I thought I was going to have to take a bunch of tests, which I am not a fan of, but instead I was able to write papers, which for me was way better.
Plus, you have the flexibility to work in school around your work and life schedule. Another big fear I had is, what if I don't understand something? What do I do?
Yeah, CCU, they foster community with your classmates, and they are a great resource. And Colorado Christian University has very responsive online professors who are there to help you so you are never alone as an online student at CCU.
Learn more about how you can pursue your passion and find your calling with Colorado Christian University at ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a nonprofit impact partner committed to cultivating the mind without compromising the heart.
With so much drama in the news,
I hate drama, so there you go.
You love drama.
I know, I do, right?
this is a drama-free zone. It's news-ish on The Wally Show.
There was a 27-year-old first-year medical student named Sally who was in class learning how to do ultrasounds. And this one day, this class may have saved her life. When they asked for a volunteer to demonstrate a thyroid scan, she was the first to raise her hand, and they did the procedure, and even she noticed that her thyroid didn't look like the example.
Uh-oh.
It was like bumpy, and she was like, that's not good, right?
Bumpy thyroid's never good.
No, so she told the instructor, and the instructor said, yeah, that's a nodule, and they're common, but she still urged her to take the photo of the ultrasound to a doctor, and then charged her for an office visit and reading the ultrasound, obviously. But here's where the story gets a little weird. A follow-up appointment with her primary care doctor led to some blood work, which came back normal, and she wasn't experiencing any symptoms, so she let it go because the ironic part of this is this med student didn't have health care coverage.
Now, that is ironic.
Which seems really weird. It's like, you know what, if you're in med school, let's just go ahead and give you some medical coverage so you can keep doing this stuff.
Yeah.
But she waited almost a year to get a formal ultrasound, and when the results came back, she was diagnosed with stage 1, fortunately, thyroid cancer. And the good news is, even though it spread to her lymph nodes, it was treatable. And her doctor said that the ultrasound she did as part of her class probably saved her life because she wasn't experiencing symptoms, so it would have gone much longer undetected. Even though she waited, it still, would have gone probably years before something happened, and then it might have been too late for her. So she said, though, that while she continues her studies to become a doctor, her diagnosis is also educating her about what it feels like to be a patient. And I was like, man, I would never wish anything bad on a doctor to have them get sick, but this is sometimes the only way you learn something about other people, putting yourself in their shoes. And I think a lot of doctors could benefit from that, or even have more classes on that in med school. I know you need to know that the thigh bone's connected to the knee bone. That's great. But you also need to know that there's a human element to this. And people don't respond well to, certain types of treatment.
Yeah, or just blunt information,
Yeah. I was thinking about this, though, too. Not to Jesus juke this, but our lives are like this, too. Like, the hard things we go through sometimes make us uniquely qualified to share our faith or better understand where someone is at. And while the pain isn't fun, it can at least have a bigger purpose. So I said I don't mean to Jesus juke this than I did, but it's still a good principle, So there you go. That's your news for today. One of the best parts of Christmas for a lot of people is the Christmas card. And this year, amidst the ones from friends and family from across the country sending you pictures of them and stories of their lives, I got one really special Christmas card. And it's interesting because the people that sent this, it seems like they just know me. Which is what I like. Like, they know that the cardinal is my favorite bird.
Oh, that's
and
so sweet.
It's on the front. They know that I love trees. It's standing in a tree. And they know that I'm a huge fan of snowdrift. So there's a big snowdrift.
Wow.
See this card?
This is
That's
all
very
new to
awesome.
us.
Maybe it's like a family member?
No, actually, it's a family friend who I view as family. It is from Betty Rock's mom and dad. Yeah, so good.
No.
So good.
No.
Your mom sent me a Christmas card.
Oh.
Do you want me to read it to you?
Oh, gosh.
Can she read it?
No, I want to read it because I don't think she'll read it accurately. Says warm wishes. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Wally and Marty. Marty's my wife. Wally, I have to tell you this. Our lives would be complete if Betty Lou could find a man that is kind and caring and as manly as you.
No, it does not say that.
Yeah, okay, it didn't say
It
manly.
does not say that.
I threw in the manly part.
Let me read it.
Yeah, no, it's not important.
Can you show it to us?
Well, yeah, look.
Yeah, let me see.
There you go.
No, let me see it.
See there. But
It's not that much written down.
They just signed their names in it.
and your dad wrote a little thing on
No,
the
he
back.
didn't.
P.S. You're like the son I never had, but always wanted. Thank you for looking after my little girl so well all these years. From one dad to another, I appreciate you more than you'll ever know.
You're not
kind
even
of
looking at the
younger
card.
than me, but you're still my hero. Your friend, Danny Ray. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
That's amazing. So that was a Christmas card I was not expecting, but man, you hear it. I mean, I'm so glad I got it.
Wow.
Makes my day, makes my life, makes my year. So.
I want to rip that up.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So I'm curious, have you gotten a Christmas card this year that you were really excited to get? Like maybe it was something that somebody had been battling cancer and you got a Christmas card that said, hey, I'm cancer free. Or maybe somebody, that you haven't seen in a long time surprised you with a Christmas card. So just that card that you were like really glad that you got this year already. So 855-33-WAY-FM. I hope that the words inside of it mean as much to you as the words from Betty Rock's mom and dad did to me.
The little millisecond glimpse I got of inside that card, it said nothing like that.
Really? You just can't read.
They just signed their names.
No, it said all that other stuff. So 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. 855-33-WAY-FM if you want to share your story of the Christmas card that you're really glad you got this year. What is that Christmas card you're really glad you got this year?
I got a Christmas card from my pastor, and I'm part of a mega church in Alabama. I got radically saved in Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale, so I'm used to big. But the fact that every single year, Pastor Chris Hodges sends out a Christmas card to all of the members, and there's thousands of people who attend that church. It's so precious to me.
Oh, that's cool. I do like when we get handwritten notes, like from our CEO. Like, I keep them. I've got, probably 30 of them from him. How many do you have, Rock? Between 0 and 3, how many do you have? But no, it means a lot.
It does, because, Lucille, I've been part of a mega church before. I went to one for like 4 years. And I noticed that there was something that happened. Like one night I had to go to a work thing, and then the next week I got sick or something. But I noticed I missed 2 weeks in a row, and no one reached out to me. And I mean, I had volunteered. I volunteered weekly with this church, and you would think if you didn't show up, you would be missed. But no one sent a text, no one called. And that was my realization as maybe I shouldn't go here anymore.
Right.
So I understand when you go to a mega church and the pastor takes the time to send you a Christmas card, that is huge.
Lucille, I really appreciate you calling today. That's a great one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Be blessed.
Uplifting WAY-FM. This is the Wally Show, and we're talking about Christmas cards because I just got the nicest Christmas card, kind of out of the blue, from Betty Rock's mom and dad, and I mean, it just was gushing about how much they appreciate me.
It literally said, "Merry Christmas, Mama and Dad Rock."
Mama and Dad Rock, like I'm their son that they love and has looked out after
really
you
reading into
after all
this.
these years. So I mean, it was just it was beautiful. Like the thing about this is we don't have to say a lot of words. We just kind of know there's the in between stuff. That's what family is. And so right now, Rock is gonna go home to her
Please
mom and be
stop.
like, "Don't ever send him a card
Yeah,
again."
it's like it doesn't pay off.
Did you see it? It always snowballs on me, Ma.
Yes! Oh my gosh. Well, we're having this conversation on our Facebook page about those Christmas cards you were kind of you
Glad
didn't
that you
expect-
got, yeah.
you didn't expect to get. And Rosemarie, she said, has anyone else encountered that in the past couple of years you don't get as many cards as you did in the previous years.
I actually have seen that, and like in my friend group, it's gone way down. And I think maybe because we're getting older, although we have more time, but I think we care less. Like when you're younger, it seems like you got to do this and you got to keep up appearances. And what if my friend sent a card and I don't? And that's how my wife was for a lot of years. And now, and she doesn't even care about it anymore, which I love. I mean, this is a great transition. And so maybe it's an age thing as you get older. I still like seeing them when I get them. I just didn't like the pressure of having to do it.
I don't know if it's that or like me as a millennial, I don't see the point in them.
Right.
I don't see like, what's the point in sending a card to someone that just says Merry Christmas?
Yeah, and you're like, who cares about somebody else's life and what they're doing when it's all about
again,
me?
You're snowballing. You're reading into
things. But that's what family does.
Oh my gosh. We're not family.
Oh, electronic mail.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. If you ever want to get a hold of me, you got a question or you want to comment, just wally@wayfm.com. That is how you can get a hold of me through email. Anyone that works here at Way FM, Hope Media, if you need to get a hold of me, also email, not Teams. Inside joke there. That's the best way to get a hold of me. So Dean reached out. He said, "Hey, my name is Dean. I've been listening for years, and I love listening to your podcast every day. Thank you. We do a brand new content podcast every day after we get off the air. That if you want to check it out, TWS to 91979. We'll send you a link. I was watching I Can Only Imagine on Netflix, and I've been what? I didn't bring it up. Dean did.
I know.
And he said, I've been hearing the claim that you were in the film. Were you in a disguise? Because I did not see you anywhere."
Now that is funny.
I figured you would appreciate that.
That is funny.
I did say I'm the DJ at the end of the movie who puts the CD in the CD player. If you blink or sneeze, you will miss me. This one here is from Lacey. This is actually from Lacey's husband. Says, "My wife Lacey is from the U.S. and I love your show here in Germany." What? I love that all the way over there. "I had to laugh when you referred to the lady cutting her steak the German way. She was saying she doesn't switch hands. Like if you're right-handed, you cut your steak with the knife in your right hand. Betty Rock is doing it right now. And you hold your fork in the left hand, you cut your steak, and then what do? You switch hands and you eat with your right hand with your fork. Right, Rock? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the German way is you basically cut it, you stab it with the fork upside down, and you just put it with your left hand into your mouth.
I see them do that in movies.
Yeah, and I said that's the German way, and people were like, "No, come on, really?" And he says, "I, as a German, can say you are 100% right, Wally."
Wow.
See, Wally does know some stuff here, and I have, affirmation of this all the way from an actual German in Germany. That makes it even more authentic. So there you go.
What is that saying? The squirrel gets a nut every now and then.
Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
That's you.
100%, I'll take it. So if you ever want to hit me up, it's just wally@wayfm.com.
He's kind of smart.
Guys have underestimated me my entire life.
Sorry, read that wrong. He's kind and smart. It's News-ish with Gavin.
That makes me laugh every time. I'm sorry.
Okay, quick poll around the room. Do either of you guys have a go-to place that you like to go to when it comes to celebrating your birthday?
Oh, boy. No, I don't really celebrate my birthday a lot.
If I could, I'd go to Bucky's gas station.
Yes, if there was one close enough.
Yeah.
Don't you go to a catfish camp?
Oh, that's true. I go to Catfish Camp. I've done that for the past 3 years, I think.
Oh.
But it's a local restaurant, a hole in the wall. I love it.
Now, I have a pie that my wife makes me every year.
Oh, cool.
And so that's like my thing.
Well, yeah, I think that's one thing that's reflective is as you get older, your birthdays are like less important. So generally, you're not going all out. You're not doing the crazy big stuff.
I've never celebrated myself the way Rock does. Like it's not that big of a deal to me. Like we'd celebrate birth month for Betty Lou.
What? Yeah, you're not.
The lies you spew from your mouth.
This building
shocking.
serves you, Betty. I don't know what you're talking about.
As it should.
You're right, Gavin.
I digress. There is one woman. Her name is Madison. I actually am a big fan of how she chose to celebrate her birthday recently. She celebrated her birthday at Costco.
Oh, nice.
She was asked, like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? She's like, I don't want anything fancy. I don't want anything big. I just want to keep it simple. And then she thought for a second. She's like, me and my family have been members at Costco for 6+ years. Let's just go there.
Like, I'm not a big fan of when you go out to eat for your birthday, Because then there's that weird thing of like, are we all paying for our own, or is the person who asked everybody to celebrate his wife's birthday, is he picking up the tab?
Yeah.
You know, and if you're at Carrabba's, the answer is no. Everyone's on their own. I mean, that's expensive. But if you're at Costco, hey, you know what? Give me the bill. I'll take it.
Well, speaking of the tab, they ordered 5 hot dogs, 1 chicken bake,
$1.50 each for the hot dog deal. It's fantastic.
a Caesar salad, a whole pizza, a bunch of those soda cups, which I love. They're huge.
Yeah.
I love them. And all that total was $30.88.
That's so great.
That's super cheap. It's never made sense to me, though, why a Costco store has almost like a lunch table type situation.
Because you want to spend the day. Yeah, you go
But
there,
it
you eat
doesn't make
lunch and
sense
shop.
to me.
Yeah.
No. It keeps people there longer.
Right.
Like it gives them, the energy to sustain spending more money.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
one thing that was kind of neat about this was because they could have gone, celebrated, and then just walked out. But it was cool because some of the Costco staff members actually surprised her with a birthday
That's
cake
funny.
and a birthday song. Like it's just that's above and beyond.
That's funny.
I love that.
Because, they just go back to the bakery, grab a cake, and it doesn't cost them anything, really, a few bucks to do something really cool for this lady. I love when companies go just that little bit above and beyond for the customer. It makes a difference, man.
Well, and I saw that she has about 2 million people that watch her on TikTok. So
Oh,
I mean,
really?
that's also just good
for them.
marketing for them.
Yeah,
to-
we should go try it and see if they do anything for us. Be like, can I see your followers first? Well, it's not 2 million, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
All right, well, back of the line.
Behold God stuff.
Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. And God Stuff is where we like to highlight some things that are faith-based in typically non-faith-based arenas. And Gavin, you found something, right?
Yeah, I saw this video of a woman. She was talking about how she was reading through the Bible. She got to Matthew 26. We're in the drama of, Judas betraying Jesus calling everybody out at the Last Supper. And, he's like, oh, one of you is going to betray me.
And this wasn't on like a church website. This was TikTok.
This is just some random woman. Her general opinion. So the verse says, Judas, who would betray him, answered, "Is it I, Rabbi?" And he said to him, "You have said so." And this woman, she's like, I kind of wonder if there's a different version of the Bible that might have said this differently, because it just didn't sound, she's like, this doesn't really sound how I picture
relatable
Jesus.
to her, right?
Yeah, so she went to a version of the Bible called the Message Bible, which I think
It's very informal.
Yes, it's very relaxed and comfortable. And this is kind of what she found in this verse in the Message Bible.
I get to searching on the Googs. I pull up another translation of the Bible, which happens to be an MSG translation, the contemporary, like no cap, for real, on God type stuff. I don't know if you can say that, but in that translation, whenever Judas says, "Is it I, Rabbi?" Jesus says, "Don't play with me, Judas." And I'm thinking, that's my Jesus. My Jesus is sassy. Some people like to picture their Jesus singing lead vocals for Leonard Skinner, in a tuxedo t-shirt. I like my Jesus to say, "Don't play with me, Judas."
That's
Preach,
kind of funny.
Jesus.
Like, I think that there is something to that, though. Like, if you take apart what she's saying, everybody has a different view of who Jesus was.
Yeah.
We know historically kind of about him, but we don't know the nuance of him.
And I think a lot of it goes to, it speaks of our past. So, for instance, the Bible says that Jesus is our father, but if you've had a bad relationship with your earthly father, that makes seeing Jesus a little bit more difficult.
For sure.
And so I think we all see Jesus in a different way, and it's based off of what we've experienced from our past.
So this is what I want to do with you right now. So, how do you perceive Jesus? Do you see him as kind, loving? Do you see him as an earth shaker and a contrarian? Do you see him as vindictive, because of your experience or whatever? Or do you see him as a father kind of figure? I'm real curious. How do you see Jesus, and why? 855-33-WAY-FM. Like, your perspective too might help somebody process or put into words what they feel, because I think it's important. I think we all have a mental image and even a social image of who Jesus is in our mind, and so that's what we want to talk about with you. 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. Who is Jesus to you?
More like the footprints version, footprints in the sand.
Oh, yeah, that poem about when you're walking on the beach and you see two sets of footprints and then you look behind you and you see one. And Jesus says, yeah, that was where I was carrying you.
He's the one that never leaves you. He's the ultimate comforter. For me, he can also be like the friend, the one I want to talk about my day with. And then I think of God as more like the powerful part of the Trinity.
That's a good perception of both, actually. And maybe the Trinity exists because of the different facets of God and when what we need as people. Because sometimes we do need that big, mighty, awesome, ominous God. But then other times, I said ominous. Maybe that's not the right word. Maybe that's how I see God.
All right.
And other times we need that comforter, that healer, that great physician, that friend in Jesus. And sometimes we need the peace, which is the Holy Spirit. And so I guess maybe God knows this about us, and that's why the Trinity, is the way it is.
Well, and do you remember, too, in that movie, The Shack?
It was very controversial.
It was.
Because it wasn't so super scriptural, but there were some concepts that were interesting.
Yeah, because something about God changed into whatever that man, the main character of the movie or the book, needed at that time.
To appeal to him.
Right.
And a lot of people had a problem with that because they're like, God doesn't change. But I think they missed the point. And the point was that God gives us what we need and how we can best see him. And that was the overriding factor in that. But people got caught up in the theology of it.
Yeah.
And I think they missed that point of it, So, well, I got to tell you, Leslie, that's a great one and a great start to this. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for having me on.
So for you, Aaron, how do you see Jesus?
I grew up in a really broken home, and for a really long time, I actually had a lot of anger towards Jesus and, wondering the why me? And it wasn't really until I became a parent myself that I realized he was always there. And he saved me from a really dark path that I was actually headed towards. So I guess the way that I really see him more so now is a silent guardian.
Well, I think that's a great one, Aaron. Thank you. All right, Francesca, you're up. How do you see Jesus?
I see Jesus as like a legit ride or die homie.
There you go. I love that. That should be in the Message Bible, and it probably is.
Can you explain that a bit further? What do you mean by that?
And make sure you turn up your New Jersey accent because it will be even better.
You got it. Where I grew up is a little rough, and, your friends, your homies, right? And a ride or die literally will walk with you, may not agree with it, and be like, I don't know about this girl, but we'll still have your back. And Jesus literally does that. He literally died on the cross for our sins. He may not have agreed with it, but he'll always walk with you through it. Like, I don't know about this. And you'll get that tug, right, in your gut, like, this is a bad idea, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
And that's how I see him. Like, that's your homie. Like, you can confide in him for everything. Jesus is always there. Like, I got you.
I know after hearing this, there's not a single person that's listening right now that isn't saying, man, I wish I could get an audio version of the Bible read by Francesca.
If you guys know someone, great. I'm definitely down to narrate it. I'm dyslexic, so I might need some help reading out loud, but I definitely would do it.
How do you view him?
I view him as a big brother. That's a big, older, wiser brother that gives me knowledge and information I need, whether I want to hear it or not. And he's always there to give me that wise counsel.
Now, did you have a big brother growing up?
No, I was the older sibling.
Interesting.
But I had friends that could pour into me. They were able to give me that wise counsel, and then my parents as well. And the one thing that I realized with my parents and that with Jesus as well, the older I get, the smarter my parents become and the smarter Jesus becomes.
For sure, absolutely. The thing I think I'm learning is that people's perception of Jesus and even their perception of heaven is based on the way they lived or what they had or didn't have, And like you not having a bigger brother, you were the big brother. It's probably something you wanted. And so now that's how you formulate your opinion about Jesus as well. I think that's fascinating.
Yes, it definitely had an impact as far as how I go about doing things. I'm pouring into my siblings, but nobody's really pouring into me. And then in church, I kind of had people that kind of were filling that role, but Jesus ultimately was like, hey, look, I'm speaking through them. I'm the real source. So just rely on me, and I got you no matter what.
There you go. Pete, I think that's a great, healthy perspective and one that probably a lot of firstborn children can identify with. So thanks for being on with us, man.
Not a problem. Y'all have a great, wonderful day.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Uplifting Way FM. This is The Rock Report with Betty Rock.
Wally and Gavin,
Yes.
What would you say is that number one movie or TV show you quote all the time?
I have mine that I can pull out at a moment's notice. Fear causes hesitation, and hesitation will cause your worst fears to come true. Thank you, Patrick Swayze from Point Break with Keanu Reeves.
I'm sorry
very
I
true.
asked.
It's very true, though. It's my life motto.
Gavin?
I just quote Bluey all the time. A little different.
It's a tactical way.
Exactly.
Yeah, less intense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, maybe not.
I found an article that gave the top most misquoted movie lines of all time.
I like this.
So the first one is Snow White. We've always said, mirror, mirror on the wall,
Yeah.
who's the fairest of them all?
That's what I've always heard.
That's not what she says.
Really?
She says magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all?
Okay, subtle, but definitely different. But again, sometimes the wrong translation becomes the thing we all know, more so than what was originally done.
For sure. This one is from Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh,
Okay.
this is right up
Yeah,
Gavin's alley.
I do get this one. I know
So
this one.
I've always heard the line as,
Oh, my.
Luke,
Oh, no.
I am your father.
That was pretty good. Could you like?
But instead, it's
could you do it
actually...
one more time and do it the right way. Okay,
Yeah.
give me the right version of it. Ready? Here we go.
Ready?
Oh, man.
No, I am your father.
Yeah.
Okay, so he says no, not Luke. Wow, is your throat okay?
Do you need to...
It does sound like he has a little bit of phlegm.
Need a lozenge?
I need
So
a-
it's not Luke, I'm your father. He
no,
says
it's just
no.
I am your father.
I am your
Yep.
father. Yeah, Luke, I'm your father reads so much better, though.
It does.
Luke. Because we all do it like that, too. We go, Luke, I'm your father. See, you should have let us do that one.
I thought I did it really well.
Not so much. Kind of a smoker voice.
Nah. And then finally, a movie that I just saw this past year, and I was like, meh. Field of Dreams.
Oh,
It was not great.
Okay, now the big line from that is, "If you build it, they will come." That's what I've always heard. If that's not
That
wrong.
is incorrect.
No,
Yes.
really?
So the actual line is, if you build it, he will come. Oh, let me say it like the movie, though.
Okay.
It's actually the same
If you
voice.
build it, he will come.
Very nice.
Like a ghost.
Nice.
You're whispering.
It's a very scary voice. If you build it, because it's about his dad coming back to play in that baseball
The
field.
whole synopsis of the movie is just horribly written.
Gavin, did you like it?
I did.
Yeah,
and
I
they
did too.
They still honor it. Like nowadays, there's a game that happens every year where they go
At the
play
field.
in a cornfield. So it's kind of a.
Best. Okay, while we're on this thing, Gavin, best sports movie of all time.
Oh snap! That's a
Because
tough
you're
one.
a big sports guy. It's not a tough one.
I know mine.
No. Oh,
Betty Rock.
Remember the Titans.
That's what I was gonna say.
That is a good
No,
one.
take it back. Sandlot.
No.
Sandlot.
No, A League of Their Own.
They're very good
hilarious.
offering.
There's no crying in baseball.
And I think that is the actual quote. Very good one. The correct answer, though, is Rudy.
Yeah.
Best sports movie of all time. But yours were good, too. So there you go.
Thanks.
Speaking of Rudy, Sean Astin was the star in Rudy. He's also the star of our Scrooge podcast, which you can get for free by texting the word Scrooge to 91979.
And that's how you spell it, as two O's, not
Yes.
a U.
Somebody
It's
spelled
been
it with a U.
surprising how many texts we've gotten that have spelled that wrong.
Mind-boggling, not surprising. So Scrooge to 91979. Also, too, next week, we're probably going to have Sean Astin on the show with us, so that'll be exciting right after he finishes with GMA, Good Morning America. He's coming to us. I'll take it second. That's fine. Uplifting Way FM. This is The Wally Show. And you've probably heard me talk about, from time to time, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. It's a Muppets version. It was a Jim Henson creation back in the day when I was a kid, and I loved it as a kid. And Michelle recently reached out to me. She says, hey, I'm so grateful for the joy you guys bring. Thank you so much. Thought I'd bring you a little joy, too, and let you know that Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is on Prime. I heard you talking about it. Thought you might want to check it out. And I was like, what? Yes, please. Because so many times, like, you're on Prime, you go and you search something and you go to look at it, and then they're like, you can rent this.
Yeah.
And it was not a renter. It was there.
It was for free because they're like, no one wants to
Yeah.
watch this.
And after rewatching it, I see why. It didn't hold up as a kid.
Really?
No, it honestly didn't. Like here was one of the songs from it.
Well, you may be poor with a wolf at your door,
but money isn't everything.
You still got the sun and a river full of fun, and you always have a song to sing. So get the grin off your face, we're gonna replace it with a grin and a dream come true.
Yeah.
With a pretty girl dancing to jug band music.
And the mess of mama's barber, mess of mama's barber.
Betty Rock's mom just texted me and was like, do you think they're available for a wedding? They play.
I liked that.
Yeah, and so but that was one of the best versions of the songs in there. There were so many where the mom and Emmett are singing, and I'm like, did you do this live and just not know how to sing? Like the pitch is all over the place. It was horrible. And I was like, why did I like this? But then there was one part in it that I think why I liked it, and it was from the Bad Boys, the Rivers Bottom gang, and they joined the talent contest too, and they sang, and they sounded like this.
The grass does not grow on the places where we stop and stand.
River bottom nightmare band.
What? Bum, 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 bum. That sounds like 70s rock, like Iron Butterfly.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds
And so as
rough.
a kid, I think I probably liked that. Like, dang, dang, da, come on, let's go.
And that made it cool.
And it made it cool. But as an adult, I'm telling you, boy, it did not stand up. Did not. And I was really sad about that.
Well, and I think you're not alone. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of people that find themselves looking back on things they liked as a kid, and you're like, why?
Yeah, why did
Now?
I like that? What is
Yes.
the deal? It doesn't hold up. So what is that for you, okay? What was that thing that you thought was super cool as a kid? You're like, this is great. And you go back to it as an adult and you're like, not as good. I won't go back and watch Speed Racer. Speed Racer was one of my favorite cartoons.
Why?
Oh, so good. Because I'm afraid it's not going to stand up and I won't like it. And then this tattoo I got is going to be really horrible. So, and going to make no sense to me. So 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. What's that thing that you loved as a kid, but as an adult, you're like, why did I even like this? What was that thing for you, Paul, that like as a kid you loved, but as an adult you're like, yeah, why did I like this?
It's HR Puffin stuff. Came on Saturday morning.
No.
Sid Croft.
Take
it was
that
great
back.
when I was a kid, but it's really corny now.
No, take that back with Johnny and his magic flute and Witchy Poo. No.
What? I don't know what this is.
It was the best children's show ever. I loved
here
it
to
so
tell you.
much.
Yeah, but it's a little corny now, but I can see how kids like it. So.
Yeah, I probably won't go back and watch it then because now I'm afraid, like Paul's saying, that it won't hold up and then another piece of my childhood
Oh.
gets ripped away.
I'm looking it up
Yeah.
on Google, and those are some creepy looking puppets.
Yeah, like H.R. Puffin stuff, he kind of looks like a walking version of Jabba the Hutt now that I think about it.
Is he supposed to be like an ear of corn?
I don't know if he's a
or
dragon. Was he
lizard?
like a dragon or a lizard? Yeah. Was there anything you watched, Rock, as a kid that, didn't hold up over time?
I still feel like I'm a kid at heart because I loved Deputy Dog.
Oh,
And that was a
yes.
cartoon from way even before I was born. But my parents, they bought me the VHS tapes from Kmart.
Right, of course.
And I love it, and I still love them
You
to
still
this
love
day.
Deputy Dog
Yes.
today? Okay, so
I
it
still
did
love
hold up.
Scooby-Doo. Like, honestly,
Okay.
I'm still a kid.
I think the Scooby-Doo, like, I was never allowed to watch it as a kid because my parents were, like, Christians. And so...
And they knew you scare easy.
Yeah, that's true, too. My mom was tired of watching an 8-year-old wet himself, so it was for my own good.
Come on, Scooby-Doo, I see you. Pretending you got a sliver. The grass does not grow on the places where we stop and stand.
River bottom Nightmare Band.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and that is a song from Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, which I loved as a kid and recently rewatched as an adult. And I'm like standing here looking at myself. If I had a time machine, I'd go back in time to younger Wally, and as I sat down to watch this, I would grab myself by the collar and take myself outside and go play outside today. Do something else, because this is not going to hold up. It was like a Jim Henson Muppets thing.
But
I was
back
so
then,
sad.
Yeah, but as a kid, like there's those things you love, and as an adult, you look back and you're like, how did I even like that?
I loved it so much, but I don't get it. Knowing me, what I thought I was then, turns out I guess I was a nerd. No.
What? Shocker.
I know, right?
Well, on Facebook, Gary brought up a good one. He said, snow. I loved it as a kid. I hate it as an adult.
Fair.
And he actually lives in Michigan, so he gets to see it all the time. And this is a great one. Shelly said as a kid she loved skipping nap time. Now as an adult, why did I love that?
I know. As a kid, I remember that we had nap mats that we had to take to school, like kindergarten, first grade, whatever. And I hated them. Like, oh, I hate nap time. I want to be out and play, and I want to go do recess and do lunch and study hall. Nothing academic. But then my teacher had to force me to take a nap.
Yes, me too.
Now I fall asleep on the couch playing Xbox or whatever. It's like, and it's the best thing ever.
Amen to that.
Oh, I know. That is a really good one. And that's why we post a lot of the conversations we have on the show. We also post on our Facebook page. So if you ever want to follow us.
Yeah, just search Wally Show on Facebook or Instagram, and you can chime in.
That way, if you can't get through on the show, because we do get a lot of calls and stuff, you can always get through that way. And who knows, maybe your comment will make the show too. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. Betty Rock is the scoopiest scooper on the show. Her job is to find you information that can help make your life a little better, a little easier in some way. And so today, Betty Rock, what do you have the scoop on?
I have the scoop on how to keep your New Year's resolution.
A little early.
It is early.
We haven't even got there yet. I'm still getting fat, so I can work it off in the first of the year.
But there's a reason that I am starting this discussion now. That's because I think most of us find ourselves breaking that New Year's resolution when we start on January 1st. But I found this article that says if you want to stick to it, you need to start your resolution this month.
Oh.
In one of the craziest months of the year. Most of us would agree December is crazy. You've got so many parties to go to. You've got so many, you got food that you got to make. You got presents you got to buy, family to get together with.
If you have a weight loss goal, like starting now, I could see why this makes sense. Because if you can make it through this, you can make it through anywhere, because you're trying to run the gauntlet of Christmas parties at the office, at church, at small group, just everywhere you turn, someone is shoving some sort of sweet thing in your mouth.
And you've actually said this, I've heard you say this plenty of times just this week, where there's so many sweets that are being delivered here. And so we've got donuts, we've got peanut brittle. You were just looking for the peanut brittle.
I don't know who ate it, but they are on my naughty list because Ron, our engineer, his wife makes like some of the best homemade candy, and somebody has absconded with it.
But maybe that's a good thing, because that means if your New Year's resolution was to lose weight, you can start this month and you can show yourself that you're actually more capable than you thought. What are you doing?
It just hurts because that was not my New Year's resolution. See how it just got awkward? Okay. But that is a good idea. Like, if you can make it through starting your New Year's resolution now, and it will give you an excuse to, not do some of the things. And if you can make it now, you can certainly keep it going into the new year. So there you go. That's really good advice. Thank you, Lady Rock.
You're welcome.
You are the scoop.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes, as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.